A full NFL season has come and gone, and we still have no resolution to the Deshaun Watson situation in Houston. Watson facing both criminal and civil challenges. His lawyer, Rusty Hardin, recently stated that he expects a grand jury to make a decision regarding whether Watson will be charged with any crimes and the levels of the charges, whether they're felonies or misdemeanors. That'll be determined by April 1st. But the civil cases brought by 22 massage therapists, of course, still being built and have to be dealt with. So if no trade can be done and Watson continues to not play for the Texans, it will be Davis Mills once again taking the snaps in Houston. New Texans head coach Lovie Smith has high praise for the second-year quarterback, which kicks off our NFL sound-off season with Jonathan Jones. And we welcome in our senior NFL insider who's here to break down some quotes we heard this week, all doing with quarterbacks. JJ, let's start with Houston. And the Texans appear to be moving forward with Davis Mills as QB1 based on what Lovie Smith said this week. Here's the quote from him. "You don't give out starting positions in the spring, but I love what Davis has done. He's our quarterback going into the season. There's a lot of positions I'm worried about. Quarterback is not one of them." He said that via the Rich Eisen show. So what are you taking away from his quote that he's not worried about the quarterback position right now?
Well, of course he's going to say that, because what else is he going to say? You can't acquire another quarterback right now. You know that Deshaun Watson isn't going to be playing there in 2022. So go ahead and heap praise and deliver confidence to Davis Mills now going into his second season. And look, he had a pretty good year last year, all things considered. When you look at how the rookie quarterbacks fared, I think there's a pretty good argument to say that he was number 2 behind Mac Jones. When you look at the 16 touchdowns, the 10 interceptions, the completion percentage around 67%. I thought that he fared pretty well out there. So might he be the week 1 starter for the Houston Texans? Sure, he very well may be, but they also have free agency coming up. They have the draft coming up, and they should have some capital. We know that they have the number 3 overall pick. Are they going to have more than that? Well, they're probably going to try to deal Laramie Tunsil. They're probably going to try to deal Brandon Cooks. And of course, they would very much like to deal Deshaun Watson, but General Manager Nick Caserio, Jeremy, listen, I saw the report out there earlier this week that there are teams lining up to make a deal with the Houston Texans if the criminal investigation and that side of the street, the very serious criminal investigation, ultimately wraps up with Deshaun Watson and there are no charges filed. The fact is that we're probably not going to know the answer to that before the start of free agency. And because we're not going to know that before the start of free agency, while there may be teams lining up for that hypothetical situation, the reality is that the Houston Texans don't have an offer out there on the table right now to accept for Deshaun Watson. We know that they turned away Carolina's offer. Deshaun Watson wouldn't even waive his no trade clause for them last season when around 3 first-round picks were on the table for him. Was this a misplay by Nick Caserio? Is this going to drag into and up until the night of the first round of the NFL draft? It very well may, but I don't think that we're going to have any resolution by the start of free agency. I don't think Deshaun Watson ultimately is going to be dealt by the start of free agency.
Yeah, and you heard his lawyer there saying, Rusty Hardin, saying they're not expecting a resolution to the criminal charges, at least some clarification, I should say, until at least April 1st. All right.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.